Good morning everyone, welcome to our weekly press roundup, where we look at the weekend financial press and pick out some of the more interesting stories. Inevitably, as the tax year draws to a close, most of the articles are surrounding the ISA allowances, or certainly have a tax break or a tax angle to them. The first one we're looking at is in the Financial Times on Saturday, an article regarding salary sacrifice. This is apparently saying that 1 in 4 people are now considering salary sacrifice. What's salary sacrifice? Well, that's the process whereby, rather than taking a salary which would be taxable to income tax and also national insurance, both on the employer and employee, you can sacrifice some of that salary in favour of other benefits. The main benefit would be a pension contribution, but there could be other possible benefits you could look at there. The advantage there is the pension contribution is paid from the employer before tax and national insurance are deducted, and therefore saves you whatever your marginal rate of tax is, which could be up to 60% from next tax year. So in an environment where we're looking at potential tax rises going forward, or almost certainly looking at tax rises, anything that saves tax is looking quite attractive, so worth thinking about possibly. The other article there we have on Weekend Press, Sunday Telegraph, uprate your ISA. This is an article talking about cash ISAs. If you'd saved into a cash ISA right from the start of cash ISAs back in 1999, you'd have invested 43,000 into your cash ISA accounts. And the important thing is that you keep this under review, because very often you're attracted to an ISA because the rate is decent. But that rate often includes a 12-month introductory bonus. And really what the banks are relying on there is that you'll forget to move it at the end of 12 months. They can then drop the interest rate significantly, and your money will just be sort of floundering around, earning very little interest. So the article there is suggesting that keep an eye on your investments, as we ever think, review, and keep reviewing, and look for better rates. You can transfer an ISA. You don't use a tax break. You just pick up your ISA pot from one provider, move it across to another provider, and hopefully earn a better return on it. But keep revisiting those rates. Because inflation is now running up at about 3.5% at the moment. Anything below that is actually losing your money, so important to keep an eye on there. ISAs again, the Independent on Sunday, be quick or miss out on the ISA deadline. The usual sort of round of making sure you take advantage of your tax breaks before the end of the tax year. ISAs are the main one, I guess. People looking to shield money from tax via their ISA wrappers. Currently, cash ISAs, stocks and shares ISAs. Allowances are set to change next year, but at the moment it's 3,600 into a cash ISA, 3,600 into a stocks and shares ISA if you're below 50. Above that, 5,100 and 5,100 into each. I think the key thing there is that yes, the tax breaks are great, take advantage of it if it's appropriate, but the main thing is, do you want cash, do you want stocks and shares? If you want stocks and shares, where should you invest in money? Should it be in the UK, overseas, fixed interest, property, whatever it may be. So the underlying asset is the key decision. Once you've got that sorted out, then yes, look at the tax implications. But investment first, tax. Of course, Sunday Times, how the firms take your tax breaks. This is looking at the so-called self-select ISAs. These are ISAs whereby investors simply buy an ISA wrapper and then tell the investment company which particular share they'd like to hold within that ISA. Quite popular with share schemes. People taking shares out of their share schemes, move into ISA accounts. It makes the point though that actually if you're a basic rate taxpayer, the tax saved is minimal, and very often the brokerage fee, or the fee for holding your ISA with this company is much larger than the tax you're saving. So again, revisit that decision and make sure it still makes sense, if it ever did. And finally, an occasional appearance, the Daily Mirror, inflated promises. This is an article looking at endowment policies supporting interest-only mortgages. Not particularly news really. I mean, it's an old story, but I think anyone that holds one of these investments will know that if you have a with-profits endowment policy, it's generally underperformed expectations, and therefore worth looking at, worth reviewing again, because in the past you wouldn't perhaps look at selling an endowment early because a lot of the bonus would have come in the terminal bonus, which is paid at the end of the policy term. But increasingly we're seeing no terminal bonus at all being paid, or if it is being paid, they're actually being quite reasonable about it and paying it a little bit earlier than they perhaps might have done. So very often mid-term policies include terminal bonus there. It's worth looking at that and doing some sums and making sure that actually it continues to make sense to pay your monthly premiums into this, because you may be better selling it investing elsewhere, or selling it and repaying some of the debt on the mortgage, depending on rates and investment returns going forward. And that, I think, is it for this weekend. No doubt next weekend we'll see more on the ISA stories and more people clamouring to receive your hard-earned cash. But as I say, make sure that the investment is right and take advice. Tax is great to save, but investment decision is crucial. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.